Alright, well, hello, and welcome back to some more Citizen Sleeper 2. We're currently anchored in the Scatter Yards, where we led a eventful recon mission into Darkside, the main station of Utsubo and the headquarters for Lane, the mob boss who's been chasing us across the Starward Vector. So, our next goal, having recovered some data from Darkside, is to find the hidden colony of Olivera, which should be southward of us in the asteroid belts below. We will see what we can do. So, we have full fuel, full supplies. Let us take off and chart our next vector. So, Olivera, the concealed colony. We'll do a quick stop in the hollow, just so we can refuel while halfway there. Because I don't want to get stuck anywhere. Oh, hollow view. We actually have a new thing here. Sketch a design. You find a high window within one of the radius bridges and look down into the core of the hollow. A good spot for sketching. Yeah. So one thing that we picked up in the Scatter Yards was there's a shipwreck there who was asking us to find some designs and find inspiration throughout the Starward Belt. The hollow is a glowing bauble, cracked open and bridged. Its reflective panels are what makes it distinct. And we'll see if I can finish this off. Yeah, it's working. The more you look, the more complexity the hollow shows. An intriguing structure. Yeah, it is effectively a hollow globe. Alright, where do I go for fuel here? The debris dealers, probably. There we go. Quick pit stop in the hollow. Now down to Olivera. Confirm the vector. You find Olivera exactly where Ankita said it would be, a ragged colony nestled in a crater on one of the biggest rocks of the shoals. Seraphim gets no response to his initial broadcast, and so you find yourself in a docking tunnel, the rig at one end, the colony at the other, with no idea what awaits you. I need you to get back on that ship and keep flying. You freeze in the dark tunnel, a figure in front of you, holding a long gun at their hip. I'm serious. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and as they do, you see a man. No, a boy, carrying a long, dark shape in his hands. I don't know how you found us, but you need to leave right now and forget this place. You glance over your shoulder and see Seraphim, his hands raised in front of him in a gesture of calm. Look, kid, we mean no harm. How about you go run and get someone? I am someone. I'm Xander. He sticks out his jaw. It's you I don't know, and I'll decide who's gonna do some harm here. He reaches across his chest and thumbs on a lamp he has lashed there. You blink in the glare of the bright light, shielding your eyes, and as you do, you see a flicker of confusion crossing Xander's face. He meets your eye with a look of shock, and opens his mouth as if to speak, though no words emerge. Ankita sent us. You notice a familiar name register with Xander, adding to whatever confusion or question your appearance has provoked. You see his eyes taking in your sleeper body, his gun dropping a little as he takes his attention off it. Is this? He looks between you and Seraphim. Are you here for Flint? He pulls the gun closer to himself. I'll be honest, kid. We have no idea who you're talking about. Seraphim allows himself to drift a little forward. So, how about you drop the gun, and we can talk like adults? As Seraphin floats past you, he gives you a look that makes you nervous. Just here to deliver something. Xander? The voice echoes along the docking bridge. Xander, what are you doing? A figure appears at the end of the bridge behind Xander. A young woman, clearly older than the boy in front of you. Man, these two trying to sneak in, Cadence. Xander keeps his eyes on you and Seraphin as he speaks. Saboteurs, maybe? About to send them on their way. Xander grins. I assure you, we are not saboteurs, miss. Seraphin smiles at Cadence. Cadence sighs and glides towards Xander. Stop messing around with that welder. She snatches the gun out of Xander's hands. As she does, both you and Seraphin reflexively flinch. Cadence looks at the two of you with a raised eyebrow, and turns the gun so you can see it better. You notice the fuel tank and welding muzzle. It probably has an effective range of less than half a foot. Seraphin looks at Xander and rolls his eyes. Seriously? Cadence lowers the welder to her side and turns to Xander. Now's not the time. We just got an emergency broadcast from Karman and Flint. Something's happened. Xander's attitude changes immediately. He turns to face Cadence, putting his back to you, as if you had just disappeared completely. What do you mean something's happened? I don't know. They went quiet in the shoals. All we got was a distress signal. Cadence raises her hand reassuringly. Don't get excited. They probably just had a technical fault on the ship. We should check in anyway. You have to get him. Xander grabs the welder back and slings it over his shoulder. In what, Xander? Cadence sighs. They took our only functioning ship. The tender tide's still in pieces in the hangar. Seraphin gives you a nudge and nods towards Cadence and Xander. This is your chance. You forget about us? Xander and Cadence turn to look at you. Seraphin moves past you, approaching them. We need to see Karman, and it seems like Karman needs our help. He looks between the two of them. So, how about we stop messing around this dingy tunnel and go get your friend? Xander turns back to Cadence. Them? Really? He rolls his eyes. We're not the only people on Olivera. There must be other ships. You want to go looking? They're here now. Cadence looks at Seraphin. And they are generously offering to help. She smiles sheepishly. Fine. Xander folds his arm. But I'm coming with you. Fine by us. Seraphin shakes his head and looks at you. Come on, then. You both turn and head back into the ship, Seraphin whispering as you do. What kind of backwaters ain't key to send us to? He sighs. That kid thinks some kind of sheriff. Not used to visitors, I guess. Tucked away in the shoals like this? I'm not surprised. What are they doing out here? What are we talking about? Xander catches up with you and Seraphin. His mood seemed buoyed by the prospect of boarding a ship. I wonder how often he gets to leave Olivera. Olivera. Oh, you haven't seen the half of it, Xander winks. Wait up. You turn back to see Cadence gliding up the tunnel. I changed my mind. I'm coming too. Give me a minute to grab some supplies. She glances at Xander, just in case. Seraphin cuts in. I'll give you a hand. That alright, sleeper? We'll be there in a sec. He looks at you. You pause, but Seraphin doesn't seem to be waiting for confirmation, as he and Cadence head back into the dock. You're slightly thrown off by his eagerness to be helpful. This is the first time you've actually seen him be welcoming to anyone coming on board the rig. When you get to the cockpit, you notice Xander looking wide-eyed at the consoles and switches. Cool ship, he grins. After a short wait, Cadence and Seraphin come back into the cockpit. I'll load it up. Seraphin pats Xander on the shoulder. I want to strap in there, kid. Xander and Cadence find a place to settle as Seraphin buckles himself into the flight seat. Alright, he turns to Xander. Show us where to go. You head out into the shoals, the thick debris field that surrounds Olivera. What's happening in here, sleeper? Bliss pokes their head into the cockpit as Seraphin brings the ship in towards the signal coordinates Xander gave him. You look around the cockpit. Xander is tapping at the co-pilot console mounted in front of his seat in a haphazard way, while Cadence is asking Seraphin about how the rig works. Surprisingly, Seraphin is responding with patience and care. They'll help us find Karman. If you say so. Bliss looks over at Seraphine and Cadence. Is Seraphine smiling? They shake their head. Something's going on. Bliss turns back to you. Junie's working the ship's wiring and won't respond to my messages. She's probably in the walls somewhere, hooking up to the main line. They smile a weak smile. I'm here. So how about you tell me what we're doing out in the middle of nowhere? Quiet. Seraphine's voice cuts through the chatter. Is that? He gestures out into the debris field at a sparking, ragged-looking shape tucked beside a rock. Xander rushes to the cockpit glass. Karman! A moment of tense silence grips the room. That's his ship! You and Bliss exchange concerned glances. This isn't good. I'll bring her in. Seraphine's eyes are fixed on the wreck of the crumpled ship now. We don't know anything yet, so everyone calm down. Xander is silent, his face pressed against the glass. Cadence stares out at the wreck, her cheeks pale. No one speaks until the rig is brought to a stop. Alright, now we're going out there. We'll have a poke around. Seraphine looks between Cadence and Xander. We verify the ship and we recover the crew. Seraphine gives you and Bliss a nod, and you both push off and glide towards the back of the cockpit. Suddenly, Xander pushes off from the window and glides with you, out of the cockpit. I'm coming too. You need someone to identify the ship, to identify... He stops and takes a breath. Are you sure? I'm sure. Xander gets the words out, then pushes on ahead, towards the airlock. You fall behind, ready to suit up and investigate the wreck. Okay. Well, you have a 6. Might as well bank on that first. The simplest way to find out what happened is a full search of the gutted ship. That's no easy task when part of it has been blasted to debris. The search reveals railgun slugs embedded in the interior structure of the ship. Who did this? Alright, Bliss, let's see if you can reconstruct events with your intuit. Crippled ship, holes torn in its hull, and a missing crew. With some thought and careful assessment, perhaps this wreck tells a story. Damn it, Bliss. The damage to the ship is chilling. It's hard to concentrate on the task at hand. Well, let's see if I can do any better. On closer inspection, it seems the ship's drive is totally burnt out. This ship was running from something. Alright, do that again. The marks on the ship's hull are surrounded by dark streaks. This is no accident. It's weapon fire. Alright, Bliss. Let's just get this one done. One stress isn't too bad. Can you get us anything, Xander? No, you cannot. I ain't get anything. Damn. Alright. End the cycle. Making we go. Bliss. Are you serious? If you want to have any hope of recovering Karman and Flint, dead or alive, you just start at the wreck and work your way out. You have good dice for this, Bliss. You should be good at it. Alright. Yeah, I'll just finish this with a 6. Bring it on home. You have a sense of what happened here. It's time for a difficult conversation. The search of Karman's gutted ship has impacted the mood in the rig. As more and more evidence of an attack has appeared, the quieter Xander has got and the more Cadence has retreated into the bunks. Now, with the search complete, you are gathered in the cockpit to discuss what's been found. Come on, Cadence floats by the door, hugging herself against the cold. Tell us already. Xander is perched on the back of one of the seats, looking at some hinged container he found in the wreck. Open and closed. Open and closed. They're probably fucking dead. You tell them how it is. The ship was attacked with live weapons fire. They attempted to flee and burnt out the drive. The ship slammed into the debris field and came to rest here, crumpled and crushed. There are no bodies. As mention of the word bodies, a shudder runs through those assembled. Then they're here, somewhere. Xander has a steely look in his eyes. And we find them. Whatever state they're in. He looks at Cadence. She nods back at him. Xander's right. We aren't leaving them out here. Karman made Olivera what it is. He saved us. We won't come back without him. He shivers and looks at Xander. He would do the same for us. Based on the damage to the ship, Seraphim begins. They're almost certainly dead. We get it. Xander cuts him off. There are debris trails leading away from the ship. I've seen them. There are. Seraphim holds his hands out in a calming manner. But those could be from secondary explosions or depressurization. If we pick the wrong trail, it could lead us in circles, cycle after cycle. And we better pick the right one. Cadence has Xander's steely look now, too. She stares directly at Seraphim, challenging him to answer back. He sighs. And that's what we'll do. He looks at you with resignation. Whatever happened here, you won't be leaving until you see its end. So I've done this mission before. I'm fairly sure it's this one that's the correct one, the Starward Trail. One of 3 possible trails. It's possible to know which is the right one without exploring them further. Unless you've played the game before. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Woo! Among the blasted debris, there are tools and supplies completely untouched. Who dropped these? There's only so much you can see from scans. Sometimes you have to explore the debris and pick up the trail from its pattern. Alright, now I can do some mapping. Scanning and mapping the debris from the ship will help you safely figure out where it might lead, but it's painstaking work. Thankfully, I am very good at interface. Piece by piece, a picture starts to take shape, not just of an attack, but of a rapid retreat. Can I use this to finish it? The story the debris tells is clear. Asteroid caves, a possible retreat. The trail leads to these barren and airless caves. It's hard to imagine someone surviving in here for long. We'll follow the trail for now. The caves are dark and winding. With a sharp eye, it's possible to spot a glinting shard of debris. This trail must lead somewhere. A bit of luck and some careful exploration mean good progress. They're close. However, that's all we have the energy for today. End the cycle. Ooh, we have a lot of good days. Xander, forget the trail. If the caves are searched comprehensively, then anyone in here will be found. You got the endurance for it, kid. The structure of the caves is becoming more obvious, as are the smaller passages that might have made the perfect safe haven. You got anything else out of you, kid? Searching the caves is tiring, but hard-earned progress is made. They must be in here somewhere. Alright, Bliss. Now it's your turn. Bit of luck and some careful exploration mean good progress. They're close. Now my go. Slowly the debris leads into the caves. There's a spotty trail that's hard to follow. There's a light in the dark, flickering, fading. When the Starward Trail led to the caves, a little hope was kindled in the hearts of the crew. But after plumbing the depths of these dark passages, that hope seemed snuffed out. Xander has struggled on in silence, only speaking to update Cadence on the lack of news via the cockpit comms link. But he speaks now, quietly at first, and then with increasing urgency. "A light, sleeper. I see a light." And with that, he kicks off hard from the wall and darts down a dark tunnel with reckless speed. You follow, but the tunnels are winding, and you quickly lose Xander around a corner. You kick off from the same wall, trying to close the gap. When you come around that same corner, you can't find Xander anywhere. And you see it through a thin slit in the cave wall, a flickering, fading light. You cross over to it and see scratches and chunks scraped out of the rock. Someone has dragged something through here. Let's push through it. You push away some of the floating rock and squeeze yourself into the gap. As you do, you watch the light pulsing inside the cave, setting the cracks and shapes of the rock in sharp relief. You search those shadows for something recognizable, but the light source remains out of sight. And then you're through. You steady yourself against the wall and look towards the light. There, beside a fading emergency lamp, floats a body, its head instantly striking you as strange and misshapen. You know immediately this must be Karman. His head is shrouded in an emergency helmet, inflated around him like a balloon, while an oxygen canister floats nearby, attached by a tube. His eyes are closed, his body still. You try to settle your gaze on his chest to see the telltale rise and fall. And then the light catches something else. Something broken and skeletal nearby. A face with bright eyes. Bright eyes watching you. A sleeper. Another sleeper. They watch you with lit irises, ones just like yours. Their torn face reveals no emotion. They pose, crouched, coiled even, like a spring ready to strike. You are both frozen, unsure, afraid. Nothing moves. Your eyes trace the damage to their suit, to their body. They look broken, worn down, and you wonder if this is how you look to others. If they flinch when they see you, as you feel the need to now. "Karman!" Xander's panicked voice cuts through the silence. He rushes forward to the floating body, and as he does, the other sleeper pulls away from the wall, like a statue coming to life. For a moment, you go to intervene, to save Xander from this skeletal figure, but the sleeper falls on Xander to embrace him, and Xander returns the hug. Flint, a quiet and desperate sleeper. You float, stunned, watching as Xander begins to carry Karman's body from the cave with Flint, the sleeper, guiding him. Karman is stable. Cadence comes out from the room that had become a makeshift medbay. She looks between you and Seraphim. "Thanks to you." "And Flint?" Cadence pauses, choosing her answer carefully. "Flint is in there with Karman. They seem to be functional." She looks away, "If that's what you mean." "We should head back to Olivera," Seraphim cuts in. He places a hand on your shoulder and steers you away towards the cockpit. Once you're out of earshot, Seraphim turns to you. "Did you know Flint was a sleeper?" "I had my suspicions." Seraphim nods. He pauses. "I don't want to be suspicious. I was just surprised, that's all." Seraphim glances back towards the medbay. "They look different." "Different how?" Seraphim sighs, unsure of his words. "Just never seen a sleeper like that." He looks away. "I'll go get her started up." He pats you on the shoulder and heads to the cockpit. "Let's just keep an eye on him, okay?" He leaves you floating in the corridor, unsure what to think. Flint is the first sleeper you have met since you escaped the program, and at this point, those memories are little more than fragments and fictions. As the rumble of the drive runs through the ship, you can't help but feel a little concerned for what this might mean. Alright, let's head on back to the colony. You're left alone with Xander and Seraphim in the docks, while Karman is carefully carried away from the rig by Flint, guided away to one of Olivera's many tunnels and passages. Okay, I believe you. Xander shrugs his shoulders. Seraphim raises an eyebrow. Believe us how? That you aren't saboteurs. He shoots you a sheepish grin. Although, you never know. I appreciate that, kid. No problem. He nods to you with the kind of seriousness that only children possess. Tell me, kid. The Seraphim folds his arms. Why are you so protective of this place? I mean, no offense, but we want to sabotage a tin pot colony in the middle of the shoals. Xander bristles at the comment, but controls his anger. You don't get it. Olivera is a refuge. Why do you think we're hiding all the way out here? He glances at you and then back at Seraphim. I would have thought you'd understand what's at stake here. You've seen Flint. Seraphim pauses, unsure of how to respond. He looks embarrassed into silence. A little bit of a yawn there. It's been a long day. I am tired, but I still want to do a quick stream. That's my tea drunk for the night. Look, Xander says, playing the peacemaker. You brought Karman back to us. Everyone over there will thank you for that. How about you stick around for a bit, get a feel for the place. If you need to resupply, we can help. You haven't got much, but if you chip in, well, you'll get your share. He bows his head a little. We're more welcome than we appear. Just don't expect to buy anything with those chits of yours. Xander puts his hands on his hips. Olivera is not for sale. Seraphim shrugs. Alright, kid. He glances at you. We appreciate it. You need to hang around until Karman is back up and awake anyway, and I think we'll be glad of the rest. I'll see you around then. Xander touches his brow in a salute and then kicks away, floating out of the docks. Seraphim turns to you. A little surely doesn't sound so bad. Are we safe here? Seraphim shrugs. Yeah, safe as anywhere on the belt, I guess. He looks around. Aye, maybe even safer if Xander's gonna chase any visitors off with a welder. He winks and glides away, into Olivera proper. You're left floating in the docks, unsure of what comes next. Doesn't seem like Lane is going to find you out here, so maybe this is the perfect time to take a breather, at least so you can bring Ankita's drive to Karman. You turn that little thumbnail drive over in your pocket. Time to see what Olivera has to offer. Okay. Looks like we have 2 cycles before that becomes an option. We're got energy, so for now I think I want to get some supply first. The Olivera colonists allow you to gather supplies, but you have to harvest, pack, and process them yourself, which can be exhausting. Put together a crate of supplies from the stacks, making the most of all the produce on offer. And now we do it again. Okay, we got some supplies. Ooh. Fuel extraction uses interface. Good to know. We don't really need components right now, unless I have a chance of getting high quality ones. The Olivera scrappers are happy for you to search the scrap silos for components for your own use, but they won't be easy to find. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just make use of these. You are permitted to extract fuel for your own use. You have to oversee the complex automated process yourself. It's fine. I do my share of work. It takes time and effort, but you manage to extract some fuel for use in your ship. Want to see me do it again? No. You struggle with the interfaces of the extraction system and gain nothing useful for your work. Unfortunate. We'll have to go with the scrap silos, just see what we can do. Give her a go. Cracking open some kind of ventilation unit, you find some components that have yet to corrode completely. Hey, I'll take it. Also have the canteen. Olivera has an open canteen where Cadence prepares the colony's produce. You tend to get served based on how well liked you are. Good to know. Karman is in recovery, and Olivera will have to navigate a coming crisis without his steady hand. Oh. As you leave the rig, you find a figure waiting for you in the docking tunnel. You think of Xander's hostile greeting when you first arrived. Is that him again? Where are you headed? Flint leans away from the wall, now out of the battered suit you first saw them in. The damage to their frame is concealed beneath their overalls. You're still aware of it, just beneath the surface. Hydro refinery. Same. Flint nods in the direction of the colony. I'll join you. You float together through the docks in silence. Flint makes you nervous, and their insistence on intercepting you this cycle hasn't exactly calmed that sensation. Breaking the silence eventually becomes unavoidable. How are you doing? Flint stares ahead, continuing their glide. Better than Karman. Mention of Karman's name recalls the image of him floating unconscious in the light of your work lamp in those deep and winding caves. You suppress a shudder. Flint gives you a sideways look, their mask-like face betraying no emotion. It's good you found us. They pause as you both move through a doorway. Could have been sooner, they blink, but better than nothing. Looking at Flint gives you an unsettling feeling, like catching your own reflection in a polished hull plate. Is this what others feel like when they speak with you? Watching the crooked mask, the lit irises, for signs of human emotion. Interpreting the stuttering emulations of facial expressions as they cross your doll-like face. Flint turns away again, and you realize that they might feel the same looking at you, each the other's mirror, each reminding the other of the gap between being and being seen. How did you escape? Escape Essenharp, you mean? Flint pauses. We aren't there yet, friend. We can share war stories another time. You arrive together at the main bay of the hydro refinery, a space filled with tanks and ornate patterns of pipes and ducts. So, sleeper. Flint's face curls in amusement as he uses the mononym everyone refers to you by. Olivera asks all of those it harbors to contribute to the colony. Show me what you can do. I'll show you exactly what I can do, Flint. You and Flint join the huddled workers as they assign roles, each person given a task in the process of refining gas and liquid into usable fuel. Diverting the runoff, monitoring the electrolyzer, feeding the system. The refinery is dotted with glowing terminals, and raw data feeds scroll across them at near unreadable speeds. Precision is key, and you find yourself quickly disappearing into the detail of the work. The refinery is built from spares, runs on homebrew systems, but this openness allows you to tinker and tweak almost every component. The data spools, the cathodes pulse, and the fuel gathers in the tanks. You step back to take a rest, watching the system spin on, perfectly balanced. Something makes you look to one side, a glint that catches your eye, and there is Flint, taking a rest of their own. You see a glint again, Flint turning something over in their fingers, watching it spin, a vial of stabilizer. My last vial, Flint speaks without taking their eyes off the drug. Even through the haze of your lost memories, you can recall the fizzing, sickening pulse of that injection, the dependence your reboot freed you from. Saving it for a special occasion. Flint pockets the vial and meets your eye. You don't need a stabilizer, do you? Flint moves away from the wall they were resting against. I noticed you were different from the first moment we met. I didn't realize what it was until now. The way you work, the way you move, without dependence. I see it now. Flint folds their arms. I mean, no point hiding the truth from them. Tell them about the reboot. You tell them about the process you and Seraphin attempted on Darkside, the one that Lane interrupted. They listen absent-mindedly, watching the workers instead of you. That's not all, though, is it? Flint meets your eye. There's something wrong with you. More than just your decaying frame. Your signal, your presence. It smells different. Lane did something to me. I have come to know that feeling. The feeling that I am an object. A tool to be molded, to be shaped for someone else's use. Here, in Olivera, people are different. Flint looks out at the workers. But I still know who I am. what I bring to this place. All of these people are at risk because of me. That means you too are a risk. A risk to your crew, to me, and more importantly to this place. This is what is worrying me. Olivera will welcome you, just as it welcomed me. Flint stretches, and it will do so in spite of itself and its own safety. I want you to know that, because they will pay the cost, those close to you, and you must know that they pay it for you. With that, Flint turns and glides away, leaving no space for a response. You watch them leave, their billowing cloak revealing the concealing, the glinting and ragged parts of their exposed skeleton as they go. Well, that's all we get for the day. End the cycle. The sound of Ray's voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked in a bitter argument. I won't take you out there, Flint. Xander is pleading with the sleeper. Look what happened to Karman. They'll kill you. What happened to Karman is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here. And when that happens... The whole colony can hear you two. Seraphim comes out of the clinic with cadence. You trying to wake up Karman? You see Seraphim clock you, standing in the passageway. Your eyes meet and Seraphim looks away. Neither of you have seen each other since you brought Karman back to Olivera. I am trying to make sure what happened to Karman doesn't happen to anyone else. Flint folds their arms. I'm the reason he is like he is, and that means it's on me to fix it. What are you talking about, Flint? You catch Flint off guard. They hadn't seen you waiting in the passageway. HazNav came for me. That's what happened out in the debris field. They look down. You know what that means. HazNav, the company that created you, the company you escaped. The idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You have long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service, a gift that became a trap. But Flint is still on the run, and if HazNav attacked Karman's ship, they can't be far away. You look at Flint and see the fear in their eyes. Your tracker is still active. Olivera is shrouded. Flint looks towards the center of the colony. Karman managed to get hold of a signal shroud and set it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way HazNav can track me here. Am I missing something? Seraphim interrupts. Can't find you here. What's the problem? It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here. Silence falls on the group, as the inevitability of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught. You can't, Flint, Xander says in quiet voice. They'll kill you. Seraphim glances at you and Flint in turn, and you see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning. I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is. Flint looks dejected. Unless we get them first. Seraphim smiles an impish smile. Seraphim, what are you thinking? Caden speaks up for the first time. We know there's a hunter out there scouring the shoals, and we know they're looking for you, Flint. Seraphim shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We can bring them anywhere we want. Seraphim looks around at the group. So we get set, we prepare a little surprise, and then we wait. Flint is already shaking their head. The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If I had a ship, I would have left already. Then we move you now. Take you somewhere we can prepare, and we work hard and fast to get an ambush set. When the hunter comes, Seraphim grins, we spring the trap. What kind of trap are we talking about here, Seraphim? Oh, jeez. My system is not good right now. That's weird. That was to figure out, Seraphim admits. You have to admit, beats going out the door without a plan. He shoots Flint a look, and hey, if we fail, the outcome will be the same anyway. Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options. I'm coming. Xander has a determined look on his face. We're doing this, and I'm coming. Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm. This is the real thing. A bounty hunter is not going to... Stop patronizing me, Xander cuts him off. I know the shoals. You need me out there. The conversation suddenly devolves into many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush. The noise grows. The old Solheim manufactory. Caden's voice rises clear and precise through the noise. That's where you do it. It's on a rock far enough from here, and it's a real labyrinth. You can lead the hunter there and get them lost inside. Caden's eyes are bright and determined. The place is full of old machines, ordnance. You've been afraid to scavenge any of it. It's so unstable. You notice Seraphim watching Caden speak, clearly impressed by this sudden shift towards decisive action. You could bring the whole place down on their head, Xander picks up Cadence's thread. I know the manufactory. It's a good idea. You look between those gathered, Seraphim, stubborn and protective, Cadence's sharp eyes, Xander's relentless desire to get involved, and Flint, a sleeper like you, a sleeper in need of an escape. Karman was building something here, a shrouded haven, a place that needs protecting. You may be unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and tubes of the clinic, but something of him is here, in this group, making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours, and you know what has to be done. The rig will leave Olivera this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. Before we do that, let's just polish off our fuel reserves. Might as well max out our tank before we go. Oh, you're starting to master the extraction process and your yields are improving. Love it. Just because we have the dice for it. Let's do a canteen visit. You get some looks, but most of the Olivera colonists are too busy chatting to interrupt your meal. Good to know. And let's just go on a little component hunt and see if we can find anything interesting in here. More scrap components. Okay. Alright. Out to the old manufactory. Cadence believe this is the place to trap Flint's pursuer. You only have a few cycles to prepare, so the faster you head out, the better. Definitely want Bliss. I think I'm going to take Cadet, because I think Engineering and Engage are good skills for this one. Also haven't taken Cadet on any mission yet, so, since she's joined the crew. Valid of the contract.